Well. Today's November the 8th. We're a few days removed from the 2024 election, presidential election, that is. And I must say, I'm quite pleased with the results. We, of course, had two directions of which this nation would go. Would it continue to go down the direction of incompetence, wickedness, and darkness? Or would there be a chance for a turnaround, cleaning house, and returning power back to we, the people? As a pastor, I've done my best to inform those who are congregants at my church. And the thing is I understand that there are both those who line up with the left and those who line up with the right. I'm, as a pastor, apolitical, and my choice is whoever God's choice is. And it was clearly evident based on the party platforms whose God's choice was. And by that, you see the hat I'm wearing. It was President Trump. I believe that on July the 13th, the Lord made his decision. And he made it evident to the world when they tried to kill him. What's amazing to me is that many, even those in the church, wanted to believe that that was staged. That was clear and sheer stupidity and lack of empathy. For if it was one of their fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, they wouldn't thought it was staged. And so we are here today on November the 8th, 3 days removed from November the 5th. And it is, as I thought it was, a landslide victory. Because people are tired of the establishment and things that have continued for so long. And the fact of the matter is, what we have to realize that the presidents that have come, whether Democrat or Republican, have been a part of the deep state and carried out the deep state's plans. And if you really want to break this down, for the last 12 years, with the exception of the Trump administration in starting in 2016 or 2017, for the past 12 years, with that exception, have been Democratic governments. And of course, Rhino Republicans. Now, with the platforms, I've continuously preached to our church, and they don't like that I talk about these things, but I'm not going to let them change the message. They're going to get the truth. I've often told them that God deals with me in the realm of politics. And it has come to pass in one of my prayer back in, I think it was 2022, when the Lord spoke to me. He said that Trump's victory would be hard fought. Boy, I didn't know what he meant when he said. I just thought it would be that he would not be able to gain support, but it wasn't that. It was the continuous lawfare, the attacking of his reputation, trying to break him financially, and then, of course, 2 assassination attempts. This was the hard fought. He had to basically fight for his life. And by that, he won over the people. I think from the time that they tried to attempt, because normally with these assassinations, it's always appearing to be a Lone Ranger. But come to find out, that guy Crooks had connections to the 3-letter agencies. And the other guy was trying to recruit people to go fight in the Ukraine. They always have some kind of backing. You just have to follow the money and the connections. But from the day that they attempted, and this was the deep state, I ain't afraid to say it. And the day they attempted to assassinate him, that's when things changed. But I'm going to talk about the reasons today. And that was one of them. I'm going to talk about the reasons. I have 6 reasons why Trump was victorious. Aside from what people may believe about Trump, and a lot of it's what they've been told from the legacy, mainstream media, which lies to the people. I've told this continuously to the church that I pastor. They're the lying spirit in the mouth of the prophets, the false prognosticators, and those who gaslight and lie to get you to believe against the actual reality. Aside from all of that, aside from these no good, jack-leg preachers that continue to lie to their people, especially the black church, and trying to get them to support a woman who is not even black. She's Indian. Just because you have pigment to your skin don't mean you're black. I've seen Indian people blacker than me, but they are not black people. They are considered to be Caucasian Indian people. When she was found out by Candace Owens, that really changed things in the minds of blacks. And I think even before that, because they saw right through it. And then she was code switching in front of crowds based on the demographic of people she was addressing. And all of that stuff. But enough about her. She's nothing now. She's defeated. The Democrat Party is defeated. The people have spoken, and it was clear. There was nothing they could do to challenge it. They had to back down. Now, I don't expect them to stay down. I expect them to come and try to everything to challenge the next Trump administration. But number one reason why he won, because God chose him. As I said in my prayer time, the Lord said he would become president again, but it will be a hard-fought victory, and people will know that it was me who got him the victory. The Lord chose him a long time ago. You look at the prophecies of Kim Clement, Mark Taylor, and Marcus Rogers. I'm so glad he received vindication because people like Alan Parr and Ruslan attacked him. And the problem was in 2020 is that people were so excited about the success of President Trump's first term, that it was like almost a shoo-in that he would get a second term. And lo and behold, when you look at the data now of presidents and when they won, the median was around 60-something million votes that put the presidents over the top. But when the Biden administration, when Biden won, he got 80-something million votes. That's an anomaly. That means that there was some cheating happening. I'm not afraid to say it. When you look at data, the numbers don't add up. Where are the 20 million? That's what the question has been since Trump won. Where are the 20 million votes that Kamala's missing? How is it that Joe Biden is more popular than President Obama? These are things that you should think about. See, when I say things, I do my research. I know what I'm talking about. And when people come at me with garbage comments and things that they've heard from others, I tear them apart with the facts and the truth. I do it in a friendly way. I don't do it in a hateful way. But don't come to me ill-informed. God is the reason Trump has another term. It was prophesied and it was confirmed through many. The night before, or not the night before, I'll talk about when I had a dream on the 17th of October that I saw the victory of Trump, and I saw him give a victory speech. And then my daughter, who is a prophet, I'm not going to say who, she had a dream that he won. And then another prophet in my church had a dream that he won. Let it be confirmed in the mouth of two or three. It's been confirmed in the mouth of many that Trump would have another term. Now, what happened in 2020 with the prophets is not that they were false. They misinterpreted what they saw. They were not wrong. They were just off on the timing. Kim Clement said that the Lord will put him at the helm for 2 terms of president that will pray. But he didn't say consecutive terms, and he even mentioned the setting aside and mentioned Joe Biden in his prophetic words. But it was a misinterpretation due to the excitement and expectation that Trump would get another term. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm glad he didn't, because it was more time for people to really wake up to the corruption that was happening in Washington, D.C. and in the state governments. God allowed that pause in the presidency to shake people and wake them up and show them what they were in for if Trump did not win a second term. If he had won in 2020, there wouldn't have been much he would have changed, because the balance of power would have been, it would have been conflicted. You would have had maybe Democrats have the Senate and Republicans have the House. He wouldn't have been able to get anything done. But not only did he win, it's almost like he got the triple crown. He got the House, he got the Senate, and then the presidency, but also the popular vote by 5 million. And of course, the electoral college of 312. She had no chance. So God, and then the people of God agreeing with God about his choice in prayer and fasting. I've been praying and fasting since Trump won in 2016, and praying that for his victory and for his protection since then. I have not stopped. I've lost members because of my stance on talking about politics in church. And before the election, I made a plea to the people that, first of all, they could not refute the fact I never told them who to vote for. I just discussed the platforms and what they stood for. And I've always told them to vote the Bible. And I made a plea to them, don't let this divide us. Now, some were angry that Trump won. But they got to remember that this is the Lord's choice. And a few weeks before I made that plea, I said to them, whatever happens from this point to the end of the year, accept that it is God's choice. Now, I have family that go to my church. They don't agree with me. That's fine. I understand that for the sake of the truth, there will be division. I'm not walking or gloating like some are. I'm thanking God because we have a reprieve. If Harris would have won, there would have been judgment. There would have been persecution against the church. I mean, it was evident when the young men showed up at her rally in Michigan and they said out loud, Jesus is Lord, Christ is King. And then she responded, you're at the wrong rally. That ought to told you everything you need to know as a believer. She is not for you. I don't care what nobody says. It was prayer, and it was the prayer linking up in agreement with the Lord's choice. He is in many paradigms of the Bible. Jehu, this coming into the administration, what he's proposing is a Jehu type move. He used a Cyrus back in 2017 because of what he did with Israel. He is a David because he's going to do, and I pray for him to do what God wants him to do and do what's right. Second reason is people woke up. They realized that they had it better under Trump, even though the Democrats and all these extremist groups stirred up a whole lot of trouble. The economy was better. People were able to provide for themselves. Grocery prices weren't out of whack. The gas prices weren't too expensive. In fact, I remember over in my neighborhood, the Shell gas station not too far from my house was $1.70. You mean to tell me you don't want to get back to that? People woke up. And the majority woke up of America. The majority. It cannot be denied that we the people have spoken. Third reason, effective messaging and engagement. He's done over 900 something rallies. I say I probably watched about 700 of them. And that's why people can't tell me what Trump said about something, because I know what he said. I go and get the full context of the matter instead of believing what the news cuts and clips and puts out there and puts their spin on. The rallies were effective engagement, and then he had the alignment with RFK, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard, two of which were former Democrats. They saw the writing on the wall. They said the Democrat Party left them. They didn't leave the Democrat Party. A lot of people who switched over said that. And what you had was a realignment of those who want general good and put for the nation and put America first. And then you had those who went to the Democrat side, like Liz Cheney, who's a war hawk, and others like General Milley and all these people who are failures aligned with the Democrats. So basically, you had the split down the middle of good versus evil. That's what you had. On one side, you had those who support the gender, the many genders and transgender surgeries and taxpayer funded transgender surgeries. You had all that, abortion. I preached against all these things in my church, and I laid it where it was. I laid it where it was. The Democrats want it up into the ninth month, and even after that, they ran on that. The main premise of their platform was abortion and LGBTQ. And that's what Kamala Harris spoke about mainly. And when she started her campaign, she started out on that RuPaul show with all those drag queens. They ought to tell you everything you need to know. But yet, still those in the church are still confused about who to support. You don't look at personality. Lord, if I looked at personality, I still wouldn't vote for Kamala. I can't trust that smiling face and that cackling laugh. But that's personality. Trump, he's abrasive. That's what he is. It doesn't bother me. I look past that and look at the platform. So people woke up, effective messaging and engagement. I mean, I've seen some of the most epic moves, and that he has taken it, capitalized on, and taken advantage of. Like when she lied about working at McDonald's, this man went about 2 or 3 weeks ago and did a shift at McDonald's and engaged the people. And before that, he went to a Chick-fil-A in the heart of Atlanta, where Michaela Montgomery came up to him. A star born overnight. I salute her. And then, and I think Biden was sabotaging Kamala Harris's campaign. He was Bigfooting her when she would come on TV. He would do a press conference. He would do a cabinet meeting. And they would cut away from her to go to him. He was sabotaging her. When he put that Trump hat on, we knew what time it was. And then he comes out in the surrender speech and, he says his spiel or whatever, but is grinning and happy. This is counter to what the actual Democrats are feeling right now. But see, the thing is, the Democrats are the antithesis of what their name means. They installed her as Queen Kamala to run as the nominee of the Democrat Party. No primary process. They did Joe wrong, and he deserves every bit of what he got. But that just started him on a revenge sabotage tour, and that's what he did. When he said that while she was speaking in D.C., he was on a Zoom call and called the Trump supporters garbage. Oh my gosh. Vivek Ramaswamy, Benny Johnson, they worked the shift on the garbage truck. And then President Trump just topped him and came to his rally in a garbage truck and spoke in a safety vest during the rally in Wisconsin, I believe it was. He capitalized on the messaging and the engagement. Trump showed that he cares for the American people, the middle class, and those who are not of the middle class. He cares about them. She was unrelatable and hiding from tough questions and tough interviews and going on hostile platforms, if you will, and taking questions. Trump didn't shy away from that. The National Association of Black Journalists, he went on there and he basically set it on fire, saying she just now started saying she was black. That was a genius move because it made black people think, why now? Those who really thought independently. And then Joe Rogan and his son Barron advised him on all this. Joe Rogan, Aiden Ross, other places, other podcasts. The engagement, that's where the people are. They're listening to they're not listening to CNN and MS. Old folks are listening to that stuff. And I've been telling the old people that was a part of my church who left that you need to disconnect from that because you're being lied to. I don't back down from it and I don't regret what I said. And if they watch this video, I said what I said and I stand by it as a pastor and a man of God. I never insulted you. I never insulted either candidate. I just spoke the truth. You can't handle it. That's on you. And then, so due to the assassination attempts and then all the things he did, in response to the Democrats' lies about him, like the garbage man Trump, McDonald's Trump, going on the podcast, talking for 3 hours, talking to the people, going back to the location where the first assassination attempt was taken. Those things humanized him because they clearly demonized him. That's what they did. Especially during the last weeks of the campaign, they demonized him. So he became humanized, especially after that assassination attempt when he spoke at the RNC. I think he won a lot of hearts that night. That was one of the most presidential speeches he gave. And he realized and acknowledged God in that. And in fact, people want to say that this man's wicked, but he's acknowledged Jesus Christ more times than I can count, more times than I've heard from any other president. He's accepted prayer from people that are believers more times than I've ever seen than any of the other presidents in my lifetime. So say what you want about him. You better make sure your heart is right before you judge his. He has a plan. And that plan is to make America great again. And he's detailed his plan. If you listen, you'll know what he wants to do. Cut taxes, cut regulations, impose tariffs on those countries that take advantage of us. He's even talking about abolishing the income tax, which would help a lot of Americans because we pay a lot of taxes. He is going to attack that tax plan. And then, of course, he's going to gut out the deep state. He's going to stop all this wickedness that's being taught to our children in the public school system. He's going to send the agencies to the four winds of the United States out of D.C. He's kicking them out, and they need to get out. He's going to fire a lot of bureaucrats that have been there, and they have been against the American people as far as interests. They have not put we the people first. And now he has what he needs to do it. He's got those who are aligned with him and are America first. And as I speak of this, pray for Carrie Lake because she deserved that Senate seat. And they're trying to take it from her. 6, we had an example of each administration. You ask people who really think about it with a clear head, they'll say that under Trump, I had money. My life was better. Under this administration, you deal with record inflation and high costs, wars. There was peace under Trump. The Abrahamic Accords, which nobody talks about, was a great accomplishment by him. But it takes people thinking with a clear head to see that. And so those are the 6 things that, and there are many other reasons, but those are the 6 things that brought him to victory. And then his presidential pick was amazing. Vice presidential pick, I mean. J.D. Vance is an amazing guy. came from the same place I came from, just on a different side of the tracks. Instead of coming from the hood, he came from Appalachia, hillbilly country, poor. Mom was on drugs. Family was poor. Raised by his Meemaw. Sounds like the typical story of a black person raised by the grandmother or big mama. We got a reprieve, and we better take advantage of it. So thank you for tuning in on my channel. I look forward. Please like, share, subscribe. And I'll try to be more constant about posting here on this channel. God bless you guys. Peace.